Bill Belichick was a head coach in the NFL for most of the last 3 decades, for 5 seasons in Cleveland, for 24 in New England, and for about a day with the Jets. His place in the history of the game is secure, but his place in the present of the game, that's the subject of a new story reported by our NFL investigations team, a story published this morning on ESPN.com. What happened with Belichick this past winter when he was unemployed and there were so many jobs available? Here's Don Van Natta.
When 8-time Super Bowl champion Bill Belichick parted ways with the New England Patriots after 24 years, the NFL world assumed teams would be lining up for him. But of the 7 other teams with head coach vacancies, only 1 interviewed Belichick.
The big name in Atlanta all along has been Bill Belichick.
This is a team that fits the Belichick profile.
I mean, it's all right there. It makes so much sense.
Just a few hours before the Atlanta Falcons named Raheem Morris their new head coach on January 25th, Belichick believed the job was his. Falcons owner Arthur Blank repeatedly praised Belichick.
Whether he's the greatest coach to ever coach the game, if not, he's on a very short list.
However, sources say Belichick was never a contender. Blank and his top lieutenants voted on the Falcons' next head coach by each ranking the candidates. Belichick wasn't in anyone's top 3, according to a source. The same source says Belichick's second interview was granted largely out of respect. Why was the second winningest coach in NFL history not seriously considered? There were several factors. Concerns that Belichick would demand too much power, his recent record and roster choices, and his age. Belichick is 72. If Bill were 63, this might have been different, a source says. Before Blank and his executives took their vote, Blank spoke to Patriots owner Robert Kraft by phone at least twice. A source who spoke to 2 people, a close Kraft friend and a longtime Belichick confidant, told ESPN Robert called Arthur to warn him not to trust Bill. The close Kraft friend confirmed this account. A spokesman for the Patriots adamantly denies that Kraft told Blank anything disparaging about Belichick this past January. A Falcons spokesman and Belichick's agent declined to comment. According to a source, Belichick is hopeful he will get at least 1 interview next offseason. But another source, who spoke to a longtime friend of Belichick, said, "I don't think Bill Belichick will ever be a head coach again in the National Football League, unless it's for Jerry Jones."
And for more, we are joined now by Don Van Natta, who reported this story along with Seth Wickersham and Jeremy Fowler. So, Don, the Falcons passed on Belichick, and so did these 6 other teams that had vacancies. 28-39 in the 4 seasons since Brady left. That's not a small sample size. So is this really just a case of what have you done lately, Bill?
That's a big part of it, Jeremy. That record did him no favors with the teams that had vacancies. And it wasn't just the record. It's also he was a powerful general manager who had a bunch of busted draft picks, particularly a quarterback, and leaves behind a Patriots team with a lot of openings in that roster, a lot of holes that need to be filled. Despite assuring Arthur Blank and the top executives with the Falcons that he would only coach and keep his hands off the levers of power in Atlanta, those assurances weren't enough. And I think around the league, they value collaboration and cooperation, and they don't see Bill Belichick fitting that design.
Don, in your story, you also drilled down on Philly as a possible landing spot this past offseason. Of course, that didn't work out either. What more can you tell us about Bill Belichick and Eagles owner Jeff Lurie and what that involved?
Well, what's so interesting, Jeremy, is that Jeff Lurie seriously considered making a run at Belichick, despite the fact that he has Nick Sirianni as his head coach. But after kicking the tires of that idea, Lurie and the Eagles decided not to go that route because they really were worried that Belichick has a very short runway of only a couple years and then would retire. They would have to overhaul the entire organization for him, and they decided not to do that.
And retire in a couple of years. Why? He's obviously 15 wins away from Don Shula's record, surpassing Don Shula to become the coach with the most wins in NFL history.
That's exactly right. And that's the record that Belichick desperately wants. And it's known around the league through our reporting that people believe, look, he turned 72 yesterday. And a lot of people around the NFL feel as if he's got another couple of years left in the tank. And to overhaul the entire organization for Belichick, seeing him as only a short timer is a big hurdle that he's going to have to overcome if again, he gets interviews next offseason.
Now, you also specifically mention, in addition to the Falcons and the Eagles, the Cowboys. They also have a head coach clearly in place. But it would seem to me Jerry Jones is not exactly known for ceding control or power. So why would that be even the remotest of possibilities, Bill Belichick in Dallas?
A big reason is the fact that Bill Belichick and Jerry Jones really like each other. They have been very close since the 1990s. Jerry Jones, as we all know, has not been to a title game in nearly 30 years. He's got a win now mentality. And we also had some reporting, Jeremy, very interestingly, that Belichick is interested in the Cowboys because he sees if he gets that head coaching job, it would be a way to stick it to the Crafts.
Bill Belichick, 6-time Super Bowl winning head coach, 1-2 as an assistant to Bill Parcells, still looking for his next job. Don Van Natta, always a pleasure. Thank you for joining us. And for more, you can find Don's story, co-reported with Seth Wickersham and Jeremy Fowler, online at ESPN.